Good morning, everybody, or end of the morning, I guess, depending on where you're at, or afternoon, or hey, it's a world. Who knows? Welcome to From Boxes to Butterflies, and today is going to be a lot of fun because it's fun when you you set these up and you're not quite sure who's going to show up because you kind of make your plans at the last minute. Well, sometimes that makes these even more fun, and that's what's going to happen. I am going to start with a few announcements because that's the way I love to start. And then we're going to dive right into a lot of stuff. But I want to talk, one of the things that's always important to me that I talk about, and we've got a situation with one of our sisters who's been having some some issues, health issues. But we all have people in our lives that something's going on. And I just want to put the bug in people's ear, in your thoughts, that when somebody is having these difficulties, it's like we're there when we find out, or we're there at the beginning. And sometimes the check-ins and just seeing how they're doing kind of dissipate over time, but their situation doesn't dissipate. It's still going to happen. So I want to first talk about my amazing sister Danielle, who her husband had some issues, and so it really impacts their family. It impacts on what they're able to do. Somebody had set up a fund which is focused on meals and food because we have to keep things going, and we have families. So in this case, I don't go into the details of her, but she's part of our community. She's family, and she is amazing. We've got we've all got people who are in these situations. So just reach out to them, check on them, see how they're doing, let them know what's happening, and that you're there for them. I put these up. I mean, on the one hand, yes, I got to have a story about me in 6 different journals, premium journals, in the month of March, no longer last month. But I also put this up because of my amazing sister, Constance LEYLAND, CJ, who she has access to premium journals. And the thing about premium journals is it's a pay to play, yet she's also, because she's always looking for deals, always looking for the best thing to help people. This is a case where there's a price to get into these journals, but she can get a deal so it gets to be much less. That's something that's she's there to help the community. She's amazing. And this was just such a huge blessing that she was able to get me into these magazines. That's why she says publicity queen, and I kind of say publicity maven just because I'm also the reinvention maven. But another thing, and a lot of what we're going to talk about today, is going to be writing. The book at the bottom left corner, right? It's like I still got to update this. I'm now an 8-time author. The book in the bottom corner, Beyond Boundaries, Thriving in Life's Gray Zone, that was an anthology that CJ and I put together and published in March. And there's nothing better than working with your bestie on these kind of projects and having amazing authors provide their story, tell their story. So the anthologies, they really have something special. It's great to get the stories from the authors, and for some of them it can be a healing process to write it down. At the same time, those stories need to be heard by somebody. So when we talk about anthologies, especially when CJ and I talk about them, it's not just a collection of stories. It's a collection of stories that has a purpose for others out there. And that's why we love doing these. The other three books on this, these are actually solo books. Faith of the Butterfly is my own reinvention memoir, and it was traditionally published through Urano Publishing in January. The other two books, my Armor of God series, I absolutely love writing this series because it's a fantasy series, yet it takes what I talk about and puts it into a story that many people are able to relate to. It's what is it like to be what is it like to go through that journey of moving beyond boxes, finding yourself, that self-discovery, and then being able to shine afterwards. And that leads me to our author's call. And we're going to talk more about this, but I want to put the graphic up. QR code. It's all available through my website, www.susanna.com, susannadawnwriter.com, all one word. We're closing the doors today. I mean, today's the last day to get in. It's an opportunity to talk about what moving beyond boxes is like. What does it mean? What is it? And when I know that my guest is ready to come up, I'm going to have my guest pop in too. Oh yeah, my guest is ready. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in my first special guest, sister.
I was like, disco time. I was like shoving crap in my mouth because I was hypoglycemic. Like, oh, I'm hungry. But yeah,
Hey, you have to do what you've got to do, and I'm seeing new names in here too.
I
So
love it.
this is amazing. But
This is exciting.
for today, I mean, we talk about closing the doors on the book today.
Yeah.
At the same time, I know there are people out there that are wondering, what does it mean to move beyond boxes? Because I talk about it all the time, to move beyond boxes and shine, to stop letting whatever it is holding us back keep us from being our authentic selves, and just move beyond boundaries. And then as we everything, it merges together. Everything that we've done with these two anthologies, I'm finding I have those moments where I think I've written moving beyond boundaries, and we have beyond boxes. No. It's beyond boundaries, moving beyond boxes.
I know. I tend to say that too. I'm like, wait, is it moving beyond boundaries? Or wait, no, moving beyond boxes and beyond boundaries. How's that? It's funny because I'm actually putting Crystal. I made a workaround because I think my SD card is like kaput on my Rodecaster. So I lost all the audio that I recorded. Oh my God. That's another problem I have to fix. And then I'm like, okay, I gotta find a way to get these because it's supposed to be 2 weeks ago. So Crystal right now's audio is gonna be out this Friday. Yay, Crystal. And I literally have maybe 20 minutes of discussion on legacy and writing and inviting people to come in for the writing. Because here's the thing, people are like, nah, I don't really want to write. I don't really care for it, right? You don't want to
Right.
be pushing with people. It's not something we push. But this is what we want you to think about when you're thinking about, forget the theme at the moment. Just think about, do you know, ask yourself, do you know your great, great, great grandparents? Do you know the story of how they got here? We all know that America is made out of melting pots, right? How did your great grandparents got here? Do you know? Do you know how hard they work? Do you know the struggles that they went through to survive to get you here, your bloodline? More of us will say no. I heard something about someone about this, right? I was lucky enough that I still met my great grandma. She died at 101, but she was born in 1800s. She came from Spain. My grandma she was the one who raised me, told me a whole bunch of stories about our family. But me trying to figure out the family in Hong Kong and China, and I can't, right? But here's the thing. If they did write a book about their life and their adversity and how they went through it beyond those boundaries and move outside of those boxes, right? Think of beyond boundaries as like the stepping stone, this big world that you're living in. And you're going from country to country, like the wall, the Great Wall of China. Now you're moving beyond that wall. That was the first book. Now that you went beyond that wall, you're living your life right now, and you found out, whoa, I'm Asian, I'm female, and I'm an immigrant. Okay, those are the boxes that you put in. There's limitations. You can't do this, 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 and this. You can't do this only. See, now you're in that box. And you're like, okay, well, how
Right.
do I move beyond this box that I just got put into? You can't change whatever that your color of your skin. That's just who you are. Be comfortable with your skin because that's what you got. Just dance with it and roll with it. But the societal's limitations, your friends' limitations that they put on you, your family, your own family's limitations that they put on you,
That's the big one.
you literally can move beyond that. It is a mindset that we can impose on ourselves. I'm not good enough. I'm short. I'm ugly. I'm this. We can literally take ourselves apart all day long.
Oh,
But
yeah.
how do we get comfortable and move beyond that and said, that's not even important anymore? What's important is that I can inspire people and encourage people through my adversity. And that is what moving beyond boxes is all about. Picking a portion of your life, not all of it. There's no way you can write 3,000 words in all of your life, right? 3,000 words is just that, a little portion of your life. But then when you're like, okay, now I want to go with Susanna and CJ with their anthology. I don't know what to write. There's just so much. Oh my God, right? Here's what I'm going to advise you. Close your eyes and think about the moment that you wish someone give you an advice to move beyond whatever you're going through. That is the one that you picked. There's so many adversities in your life right now. We all go through so much: financial, divorce, friendship, losing someone, losing a job, hating a job, right? There's so many. But if you close your eyes and if you have to pick the number one story that you wish someone told you about, that you're already going through right now, that you have some type of solution, or maybe you're halfway through that solution, talk about that, because you are not alone. In
Nope.
this world, we feel alone and we think that our problems are uniquely ours. Some of them are because we create our own issue. Okay, we create our own issue. But the financial issue, the divorce, the losing friendship, that's not like it's uncommon. Everyone goes through that. But how did you do it? How did you move beyond that box is what Susanna and I are interested. And we're hoping that even not just your family, but the other people who reads all of these stories in the future, 100 years from now, would be like, whoa, Lion, did you go through that? That is so cool, right? Oh, wow, Susanna did this. I don't know who Susanna is, but this is so amazing, because they're not going to know who we are, but they know the remnants that we leave behind.
Right.
How did I do, sister?
No, it's kind of like you said. It's like I'm getting ready to do my post as well, and your comment yesterday of a legacy is not always physical, and too many people, they probably think that that's legacy. It's like, what do they get? What's that physical thing they get to hold on to? Sometimes what has the most value are the life lessons they get passed on, and that's where this comes from. You've got the life lesson. You've got, this is what I went through. This is how I dealt with it. With this book, it's moving beyond boxes, the journey of self-discovery. So unlike the previous book, which was Thriving in Life's Gray Zone, this is almost like a prequel. This is that moment where you're stuck, you learn something, find out something, and you have a choice to make. You either just know that you can make a change but never change, or you allow your awareness to get ignited and realize what or who's in control, because you're not, what that box is that's holding you back, what, and that you can take the control back. And I'll take this in another aspect. So like for me, I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to write on,
Me either.
but ADHD is a possibility now. Now that it's been confirmed, it's like what I kind of knew and what you're like, yeah, you got it. And Danielle did it too. So it was like, but then you start understanding things that you felt like were holding you back, that maybe at that point you couldn't put a finger on, you couldn't label it. I can sit here and go, okay, now I understand what the squirrels are, why I have these issues going on. Now I can take the step to move beyond that box, to understand the worst of it, grasp, embrace the best of it for the the superpower that it is, and move beyond that box. It's just one more box to stick behind me and keep going forward.
Yeah. Lion is so funny. Okay, eyes are closed. I'm thinking about it. Got it. Good job. That was a second. Some people don't. I talked about my ADHD and how I use it as a superpower on Beyond Boundaries. This time, maybe I will talk about the negative aspects of it and how to combat that, right? Because
Right.
ADHD people are like, oh my God, it's a superpower. Yeah, I say it too. But here's what people don't see. It's not so glamorous when you have it. It's not. It is a constant battle of like, to-do list. And then you're excited about it and you're not. And then you tacked on migraine on top of it. And I was like, dude, I'm actually like, when I was doing the drive-through, I was like, oh, I'm hypo. Maybe I'm hypo. I'm gonna take some. I think it's because I'm on caffeine withdrawal. That's probably what it is, because I try to not drink caffeine, because I'm having heart palpitations more than ever and my heart rate's like 130. So here's where the bad part of ADHD. It's like, and also you throw in, so think about that bowl. It's like this bowl is labeled as ADHD. That's the box, right? Then you throw in there people pleaser. Then you throw in there type A personality. Oh my God, it's chaotic, right? It's like, okay, where do I start? Do I want to start? Maybe. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, nothing happened. The next day, the next day, the next day, right?
Yeah.
But then when you're focused on something that you really want, this happens. This happens. Yeah.
And I totally get all of that, because I've always been that way. I've always had that where it's like, okay, I'm gonna get stuff done today, and I wake up the next morning. Okay, it didn't happen yesterday, but it's gonna happen today. And you wake up the next morning, but then when it happens, it's like, well, that was so easy to do.
Why did I put it out?
Yeah. Why didn't I have it done 3 days ago?
No, it's this. It's the commitment of this. It's like, what? I don't want to do it. It's just, and we like the good stuff. But when we hit the bad stuff, we're like, I'm not dealing with it today. And then depression comes. And then anxiety comes. Okay. And you cry for no reason. And you're like, why am I crying? Why am I so sad? Like, it's sunny outside. Everyone's laughing. Why am I this? And then you feel bad about yourself. You have pity party for a little bit. And you're like, okay, something's definitely wrong. What should we do with this thing, right? And then you throw away more responsibility. Then you throw away, oh, you got family issues. Then you throw in their, financial issues and friendship issues, your life is just. Now imagine if your great 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 grandkids did have that issue that you have, you passed it on down the line.
Mhm.
Imagine if they read a book saying, "Oh my God, I can totally relate to this. Mom, maybe I have whatever this grandma has." And look, she dealt with it in this book and in this book. It's like, think about Indiana Jones, sister, right? Like, oh, there's a treasure, or even treasure hunt movies, right? Where there's a treasure to be had. Think about that in a book. Like, oh my God, she had ADHD. So what did she do in this book? What did she leave us? Then it goes to the next anthology. Oh, grandma talk about this. Ooh, I can do this, right? Because if they have ADHD, their brain is going that way. Anyways, right? Now, let's talk also about the benefits. Someone was asking me, I mean, we can't, we keep telling ourselves don't compare yourselves to other people, whatever, but we tend to. So someone did ask me, what's the difference between yours and Susanna's anthology versus somebody else?
Right. And no. Actually, I'm just making sure that it wasn't a rhetorical question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this anthology that's coming up is number 6 for anthologies. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's my 6th one, and it's what, my 5th one with you. So we know we've seen a lot of different anthologies. Oftentimes, I see what people charge. I see what they do for the editing. They'll market it, and in some ways, it's like they just stick everybody together, either first come, first serve, maybe alphabetical by first or last name. It has a topic, but when the book is done and published, it's done. It's on the bookshelf. It's done. You got your Amazon copy and away you go. With us, we take it much differently because, number one, each story has its own soul because it has the soul of the author. But then we look at those stories and it's like a puzzle. We put those stories in an order that makes another story, that makes the story of the book itself. So when you go through the book and you read it, it's like it's like a movie or anything else. You start at the beginning and you have a progression through the book to the end. Yes, they're individual stories, but there's something about each one that the next one belongs with the first one, the next one belongs with the previous one, all the way through. And that creates its own soul. And then the things that we have with it, all the level up opportunities to be with Level Up Academy, because you've got your TV show, you've got the podcast, the LinkedIn Live, you've got radio, magazines,
Press releases, press rooms.
press. Yeah, now you've got the press room too. So, I mean, yes, Publicity Queen is definitely aptly named. But one of the things that we look at is, and on top of that, each author owns their story. What they
Yeah.
write belongs to them.
Yep.
That's not always the case with other places. And with other places, if it is, sometimes they just don't make it clear. So depending on how things went, it's like, do you really want to try and get it back? Because we've got authors now working with us that are like, okay, I've done this many chapters with you. I'm on my way to writing my own book.
It's already edited. So it's good to go.
And it's edited by the same people. So that's another thing is if you're bouncing anthology to anthology, you're getting different editors, different styles, different looks at how it is. When you're working with the same team consistently, you're getting the same people editing your book.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, we're always, another thing that Crystal actually just so shiny. Crystal was actually talking about some anthologies when you compare to it, because I know she belongs to a couple as well. The book, basically, when you buy the book, the money, by the way, we're not getting rich if you buy the book, okay? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Even if it's not going anywhere, so it's like 80 cents, a dollar maybe you get per sale per book, especially on Amazon. We do it based on our heart. We literally love our community. So what happens is that most authors, when they get a book purchased, it goes to the author. For me, I made a commitment to Evertreen, to basically, I'm trying to purchase between $12 to $20 a tree, and I'm trying to a forest on Madagascar. I don't know if you guys seen the Kenyan flood right now. There's a lot of flooding into Kenya because they're missing trees. And my heart was so full when I thought, oh, maybe I can save lives. I didn't even think about that. If
Mhm.
I have those trees up, and instead of having all those floods because they cut down the trees for logging business, now we're putting it back, right? And the reason I'm doing that, I told you the backstory is that my grandfather was a logger. So that's a different story. But here's the thing: when you go in an anthology, whether it's ours, yours, self-published, it's all good because we're doing legacy, right? That's good. The difference is, if your legacy is amazing and you're trying to help the community learn from your own adversity, how are you amplifying your message?
Right.
That is really important, right? Because no matter what you do, it's like you're there's 8 billion people. How are you getting those messages amplified so that more people can actually benefit from your hard work, from your own thoughts, from your own adversity that you're trying to provide? That is a differentiator with us. I have not seen anybody yet. It's not being cocky, it's facts. I have not seen anybody yet that has most access than I do. And I made sure that I use my platform for that reason, is to amplify your message. I do run a TV network and a TV show. Within the TV network, it's that we actually, you have to pay for those each time that you're on TV. But when you're in our anthology, you get it for free. Like, hello? Okay. And FYI, if you guys don't know, so Santa and I do publish. So if you need your book to be published, we do publish hybrid. We also do editing, right? We also do ghostwriting for you. We
Yep.
literally do everything that you want in terms of your book. You just need to let us know. If you need a book cover, if you need even an advice, just a consult, like if you don't want to. Our first hour are free. And then after that, we talked about how you want to do it and have a proposal. But we will publish for you, we will edit for you, we will market it for you. We do that. So Santa and I do that, not just this anthology. In case someone asks me,
Right.
um, do you guys do this? I'm like, yeah, of course. If you are our friends, we do get friends discount. I'm just saying, I'm all about discount. Okay. So if you are friends, we definitely give you friends discount. Now, sister, let's talk about the process of our anthology a little bit. Not all of it, but like just a little bit.
Well, a little bit of the process. I'm gonna kind of go back to what you were just talking about in terms of the editing, because this is also part of the process. Is you and I are doing the editing for each of the chapters. The two important aspects of the editing is, one, we're making sure that what is written makes sense, so that there's a flow, it's making sense, and we provide comments and guides that are, hey, if you said it this way, or if you could talk a little bit more about this, or we'll insert something, but we make sure that they know what we've inserted so that it's their choice whether they use it or not. Because, two, the most important thing about editing is to make sure the voice stays the author's voice. That's in the anthology, that's in a book, whatever the project is, it has to be that author's voice. If they don't hear their voice, then it needs to be fixed so that it is their voice. It's the most important thing. Then when we do this, just the simple overview is we like to bring everybody together so that they get to kind of know who is in this anthology. And then we have a few weeks for everybody to write their chapters. And as soon as, if they can get them into us before the deadline, then we'll go ahead and review it, get it back to them, and there may be a second review. But then the thing that's really different is bringing everybody together again and then splitting them off into either pairs, small groups, depending on what the size of people are in that call, usually pairs, so that they can read each other's chapter aloud to each other. There's nothing like hearing somebody either reading to somebody your chapter or hearing them read to you your chapter. And then we have it set up for when the final drafts are due. We look through them, and then we put everything together, and we have 2 publication dates, the Kindle version and the paperback version. But we also have one more person to pop up on the screen today, and it looks like they're ready. Sister.
Hi. How
So
are you?
you've been through all of this, so yeah.
I have. Thanks for having me, everyone. I don't know. It's good morning somewhere. Um,
It's always morning somewheres.
yes, writing has been so freeing for me. Um, it has been a process. So, um, the first one we did, the I Am Your Legacy, was just an opening to me to start writing, and then the Beyond Boundaries was really, I think, my, I don't know, I guess debut, if you will, to just let it out. And that talks about what happened to my husband. But it's been so freeing and healing, to be able to tell my stories, and heal from that. Yeah.
Yep. You're on mute, sis.
I
Me?
was gonna say me.
Oh,
I'm on mute. Bulldog snoring. To think that 8 months ago you said, "I'm not really into that, CJ. I'm really like shy, and
yeah.
and I love when I see that. I see that, and I push up, and you're like, yes, you can do it, and now you're growing, and I'm like, yes, I made somebody's life different. And
She
that's like a
did.
win for me. A win for me when I see you really get there. It's because you're right. It is healing, right? It is the process, and I wanted to highlight is the importance of truly being yourself and pulling each other up. That's our goal in
Right.
our sisterhood and in the level up
Right.
circle, right? Like really being there for each other when we're down, when we're sad, when we're going through moment in our lives, and just having that somebody to vent, right? Like just vomit your negativity, and you're like, "Are you okay now?" Yep, yep, yep. I'm good. I'm good. I fixed myself, and I love that. So Sana too, by the way, if she didn't tell you, she said no too. She's like, "No, I can't. No." And now she has her own show. I'm like, "Yes, sister." And now she's in magazines. Like, I literally am a pusher, aren't I? Like I push people.
Oh,
Um,
hey. The rule is you do not say no to CJ.
No,
mm, that's true. That's
I
true.
think it's an extra challenge for CJ because yeah, no, I mean, CJ knows this, but just for everyone to hear that, meeting CJ, really helped me to heal from a lot of things, right? And I think at first I said no because, right, human resources, you think, oh, we're in the background, nobody sees us. we don't really put ourselves out there, right? And it's a cultural thing, I think, for Filipinos or Asians, if you will, and not to be in the box, but identifying that tend to be a little bit more um, conservative, right? More traditional.
I don't know what happened to
Um,
me.
yeah, and but I also like challenging these boxes, and so CJ really represents for me that change. And then meeting Susanna also has given me the ability to reel it in, you know? And I haven't talked about this on any other show, but it'll be Susanna's, of course. Um, that I'm neurodivergent as well, and I haven't really talked about that a lot. And um, being able to speak about that out loud is something that you don't normally talk about, right? And yeah, no, it's so inspiring to be with these ladies. If anyone out there, just just say yes. It
Yeah,
is the
just say
best.
yes. I got
Yeah.
you. I got you. I'm telling you. I want good karma, people. Okay. I want good karma. So here's the thing, being a Christian doesn't mean you're perfect. Doesn't mean you don't curse, because God knows I curse all the
Oh
time.
yeah.
And I tell Susanna, please go to church for me because I need saving my soul today. Right. This week I just really did that. That doesn't mean that. It's your intentions and it's in your heart. When I see something that you can literally level up, I will give you suggestions, but it's really up to you. I don't push you like, you got to do it, you got to do it in your. No, I don't do that either, because I don't want someone doing that to me, like micromanaging my life. I can't do it. Like, don't, right? But when
Yeah.
you just kind of sliver here and there, but I think for me, what's best is through actions. People can
Mm.
talk all day long, like, oh, I'm your sister, I'm this, but it's the actions that I'm watching of how people really say what they say and do what they say. What about you, ladies?
Yeah, it is really through the actions, right? It's one thing to say, I think I've heard you say, I mean, both of us, all of us, it's one thing to say that you're heart-centered, but to see it in actual action, that you act upon that it is about the person and you are people-centered. Um, that matters. Like, what are you doing about that heart-centeredness? What does that mean to you, and how do you show in the action? And it could be a myriad of things, and something as simple as texting someone and saying, "Hey, sister, I'm thinking about you today. How are you doing? Um, how can I help?" Uh, I mean, for me, that's what it means. Like, not just saying, "Hey, Danielle, are you okay?" one day. It's having that action over time. And to me, that really shows someone's character and their integrity over time, that it's not just a one-time interaction, but if I'm your sister, I talk to my siblings every day, you know? Um, and so that's my answer.
Well, it's definitely seeing what other people do, because we see a lot, and what people have to understand too is what we don't see, we hear from others, which means
Ooh.
it's another way of seeing. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, when you're hearing it from others, then there'll be a little bit of due diligence just to confirm what you're hearing, because depending on
Mhm.
the source, you can't always just run with it, but you're able to get that feel for people, and you start figuring out who you're safe with. For me, my gut will tell me oftentimes before I quite understand why, where I feel safe or not.
Mm.
It,
Yeah.
it's got some sort of an intuition in it, and I've learned that if whichever way I go, if I ignore it or not, but especially if I ignore it, it will come back and it will do that. I told you so. And you just go, dang.
Ah, yeah,
But it's we're always watching, because
we are.
there's so much going on out there right now, and you can only do so much. And working with people, you want to work with the people that you can work with, you're comfortable, you can throw out ideas, it's safe to say what's on your mind. And I'll take it to this piece of when I talk about moving beyond boxes, especially in the workplace. Well, it fits even with your best friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's where you belong. You feel that sense of belonging, that you're safe, and you can open up, and you can say as much or as little as you want or feel comfortable doing, but you feel safe. If somebody finds out that piece of you that's like, oh, if everybody finds out about this, I just want to crawl under a rock and die.
Yeah.
But if you feel like you belong, it's like, okay, so somebody walks up and they say, I hear that you're, and it's, you no longer feel that need to go crawl under a rock because you belong. It's probably not even going to happen. And if it does, you feel safe enough to say, whether
Yeah.
it's true or not, it's really none of your business. And
I
go
love
from there.
it. Attitude.
Oh, be
You
freed.
have to have that little bit of attitude and not be afraid to do it, to say it.
Because you
Yeah.
have to actually stand up for yourself.
Yep.
Mhm.
Often we don't want to shake trees. We don't want to offend people. We don't want to hurt their feelings. We don't want to make them feel bad. But all of these things that you don't want to other people, they do it to you and they crap on you all day long. And then one day you're like, I'm really sick and tired of this. I am done. And then you just burst out. You're like, what happened to her? What did she eat for breakfast? Right? Oh no, she
Babies.
ate all breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the past 2 weeks with your crap right now, and she's done with it. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? I think
No.
if you set boundaries for what is acceptable to you, you don't burn out yourself and blow up like that. People who blow up like that is because they have not set boundaries for themselves on what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable. It is also hard to set boundaries for yourself when you have no gauge of what boundaries are in the first place. If you don't gauge, like, I'm going to set boundaries. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wait, what's boundaries again? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
right? It's literally, it's like, okay, I'm going to sign up for this. Wait, what am I signing up for? Right. But you guys will do that to me because I got you, right?
Mhm.
You know that I will explain the rules of the game and the natures
Yep.
of the game, but I always got your back no matter what. I will not let you down. I will let myself down first before anybody else get let down. That's just who I am. It's through actions. It's when you actually go to battle and you have a battalion with you, you got this. When you go to a battle and your battalion's like, you can do this, Susanna, go for it. Cleaning their nails, looking for whatever. Then you're like, wait, are we at war here? Am I by myself here? Yeah, you are. Right? That is the
Yeah.
worst feeling ever. Worst feeling ever. Right? And so I think setting up boundaries, you have to know what boundaries to set and what is acceptable to you, what is respectful to you,
Yeah.
not from anybody else's whatever's, right? And that's part of moving beyond boxes, knowing it's a journey to self-discovery.
And
Mhm.
it's that self-discovery that is, like I said at the beginning, it's part of that self-discovery is the awareness. It's not the knowledge, because I like to say, if
Mhm.
knowledge is half the battle, awareness is the first step. Because we
Mhm.
always know what we should do. We almost always know what's going on, but that
But we
doesn't
don't.
mean we're going to do anything.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
You got to have that awareness. To me, I like the idea of igniting the awareness. I left sparks gone long ago. It's like you ignite it.
Yeah.
And that's when you sit back and go, okay, I'm in this box. This is what the box is called, whatever it is. It can be, and there's a thing, there are many boxes. It can be a race box, it can be a language box, it can be neurodiversity, LGBTQ, gender, take your pick. Everybody's got them. But when you know what the box is, and then you know who's in control. Is it some other people that have taken control? Your parents have taken control because they're telling you what to do? Is it your own fear? It could be the imposter syndrome box. And your own fear is holding you back. Once you know where the control is, then you sit there and you go, I can take that control back. This is that self-discovery. I'm taking control, and now I'm going to make my plan, and I'm going to move beyond this box and then understand all the stuff that could happen that's going to say, try and hold you in that box, especially fear. Fear is such a good liar. Everything to keep you in the box. But once you start moving beyond the box, and this I love putting it this way, it's like the cocoon. The caterpillar goes into the cocoon. It's in a box. It has its own self-discovery. And once it exits the cocoon, once we exit the box, there's no going back. You can't go back into a butterfly cannot go back into a cocoon.
No.
You cannot go back
Yes,
into
into fly its own nest. I like what Flor said. By the way, Flora, welcome. This is the first time I've seen you, Flora Maria Cruz. Are you Filipino? Like, are you Filipino? Please. Hello.
I'm connected with her.
A long, long journey. I think it never ends. It doesn't until the day you die. Some people never live. So I'm teaching this class, and I told them, guys, they're like, Dr. Leland, why does my vision change from class to class? I said, the reason that your vision changes is because you're growing. And that's a good thing. Remember that a vision is the future of you. The mission is your daily activities, right? Vision is what's your future, what's ahead of you, what do you envision to have? Your mission is, how am I going to get to that vision? What am I doing every single day to get there? And the same thing for a journey, the journey to self-discovery is forever. But enjoy the journey. Don't be like, oh my God, I get the shiny thing. I'm going to finish this book and I'm going to be a millionaire. It's not going to happen. I'm just going to tell you that right now. But what's going to happen is something so magical. You didn't imagine that you are part of this movement that is now you're literally an author, forever change your life. You think it's so insignificant, but people actually see that. And you're like, people are writing books all the time by themselves. You can't. But collaborating over competition, you're building a network. You have an instant network. You know how you go and pay to go a networking event, and then you sit there, you're like, well, that was the waste of my time. I didn't even like anybody in there, right? Or maybe I like one person. Imagine you're in this network of authors. This month, by the way, for Level Up, I'm going to highlight anybody who has a book. So I'm calling out on all of you. If you have a book out there, I'd like to shout you out. So just DM me and I'll put your book in through the live show. It's all about your books in that whole entire show. So if you have any books, I come in. I'm probably going to pick, I don't know, 20 books maybe within that show that I want to highlight, because you deserve the amplification. You deserve that. I have the platform and I'm using it for my community, because everyone deserves to have that shining light, bright like a diamond over here, like my sisters, right? It's because we do change. Self-discovery is about that. And one person, when you think about it, I'm only one person. I can never change the world. Listen, I'm one person and I just changed the trajectory of my sisters slowly but surely, because it's the trust factor and it's the factor that they see. Because, okay, I don't know about you guys. I'm going to ask you this. Do you give trust like right away, or do you have trust earned? I'm not going to answer mine yet. Do you trust right away, or do you like, you know how some people tell me like, oh, CJ, I give my trust unless they show me that I can't trust them. But then some people said, no, trust is earned, right? So which flip of the coin are you, Sister Danielle?
Okay, for me, I give people the benefit of the doubt, but trust is earned over time. And to me, that's in your actions which shows your integrity. So that's how I feel about trust.
Sister Susanna?
For me, the trust can be fairly quick. However, my gut still plays a role in this, because if I'm not feeling it, the trust is going to take some time before I'm ready to just open up. And oftentimes I can kind of tell where the trust is, even initially, based on how willing I am to open up about my story with people.
Mm.
So that often tells me, without even trying to evaluate anything else, if I'm willing to open up to somebody, then there was something in that conversation that created the trust, because I opened up. If I don't open up, I hold back, I stay closed on certain things, then there's going to be there. It's just like, let's wait and see. Let's see if it still feels this way, or if it starts feeling uncomfortable, or if something changes. But my gut intuition kind of has the reins on that one.
I do the Z type of scale when it comes to like trust. The first circle that I have is sensing. I kind of let you in based on the energy you give. Some people have pitch slap energy. Oh God, I'm like, okay, they just don't know. I give them an excuse. Actually, I'm like, they just don't know what they're doing. We're gonna let them in. That's me, just sensing, because that's my empathy side kids in. After my sensing, then I'm like forming my opinion right at this circle. I'm like, okay, this is what's happening, right? And then after the forming, my intuitions are coming in, right? Then once
Yep.
my intuition is coming in, then that's when you can build trust, or I let you go. That's literally how I build with trust. Is I don't just trust people right away, because I've been burned so many times. But I'm not going to burn bridges before it starts either, or reject people
Right.
before it starts. Otherwise, I wouldn't have you guys, right? That's not how I work. But I do that. I sense, then I form, then my intuition kicks in, and I'm watching you constantly. And then my fourth step is keeping or rejecting. If you're not for me, if I see your actions sabotaging what we're supposed to do, if you say one thing in public and then do another thing in behind closed doors,
Oh yeah.
bye. Right? That's how that's how I build my trust. That's literally how I build my trust. Sometimes you can build trust within 2 months. Sometimes it takes me 2 years to build a trust.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
That's why your circle is so important, right? Go ahead, Susanna. Sorry, I got excited.
No. It's really important. But that's one of the key things there is what they say versus what they do.
Ooh.
And that is, you hear it all the time, but a lot of people, they still don't see it. They don't get it. Whichever side of that fence they're on, the one that's speaking or the one that is receiving that. But that's such a big deal when you see that they're doing a lot of stuff, and yet what they tell you is different than what they're doing in public. And this is where we talk about, we talked about it before. It's like always watching, and it doesn't mean that we see it specifically. We can hear it for somebody else and then verify that, trust but verify.
And that's the thing. It's like, you think LinkedIn has like almost 1 billion people that you're like, they're never going to see what I post. Yeah, that's the problem. I might not see it, but someone see it within my circle, and they're like, CJ, this is what's happening. Just don't. Because having negative energy, it comes back to you. It's really nonsense, right? Like,
It
Just
comes
let
back
it go.
hard.
Yeah, just let it go. I want to sing "Let It Go" now. Just my ADHD.
Sing it. Sing it.
How many times have we, how
Let it
many
go.
times has that come up? We talk about let it go so often, and
Oh, where's Elise? Let it
suddenly
go. Let
somebody
it go.
breaks into song.
Can't
Not
hold
me.
it back anymore. Let it go.
Now you have to watch it, Suzanne.
Oh my gosh, seriously. Oh gosh. Or
Oh.
Madagascar. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I love that show. It's
And that's what
cartoons.
we're
Oh my
gonna
god.
do if we sense that it's not good. If the energy is not good, I'm gonna move it.
I'm gonna move it, move it. And dancing while exiting.
Watch this but I think that's why circle is so important because
Yeah.
it helps us with our discernment. I think um it's important to know, like, I think it's like what CJ is saying is, okay, sensing and forming, and then, not necessarily, we don't make the decision on the first day, but we feel it out. And then we check in with our circle to make sure, okay, am I on par here? Do you feel
Yes.
that too? And then confirmation that our feelings and our intuition was correct. And that's really important in business. It's similar to the way that you would deal with a client that you would deal with your friends, right? To me, if it's consistent, then you're not manipulating me in who you are. And that to me is important, which is why I guess my very close circle, who I call my advisory board, is very small
Mm-hmm.
because I need to make sure that I can trust you and that you value and you see me. I talk to Suzanne and CJ about that all the time. Am I value and seen? And is my name being protected even if I'm not in the room? To me, that's a true sister, a true friend. Um, because there's no way in heck I will let someone talk about Susanna or CJ in a room without speaking up. And so that's to me important, right?
It
That's your
is.
integrity.
Yeah.
That's
And
respect, that
also, I
honor.
think the sisterhood is good when we tell you, hey, I'm seeing this. I don't know if you're seeing this, but I don't want you to be taken advantage of, right? We're
Hmm.
not trying to be pessimistic, but we're trying to
No.
give you a light because you might not be, you're so entrenched in helping others
Yeah.
that you don't see up here on what's happening because sometimes you
Yeah.
do get manipulated because they know that we're heart-centered and we like to help a lot, and
Yeah.
so we literally pull each other out and like, come back to your boundaries, please come back.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and everything that's just been said on this, I've been kind of sitting here. It's like, are we going off target? Well, not really, because all of this is part of how we move beyond the boxes that keep
It
holding us
is.
back as well, whether it's business, whether it's social, whether it's family. All of this input is important for us to be able to take the steps that we need, have that awareness, have those different viewpoints of
Mm-hmm.
the box. Because number one, you just said it, CJ, where we're talking about bringing back, we're talking about changing the perspective
Hmm.
of the person who we're trying to help, and trying to get them to see things from a different perspective. Because when we're stuck in that box, we only see it from one, we have tunnel vision, we only see it from one point of view.
Angle. Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need, especially the closest, to be able to either ask the question, what do you think? Or it'll be a case where you guys will just say, here's what I'm seeing. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, here's what I see. And it allows us to take a new perspective and to go, okay, now this is what I've been seeing, this is what they're seeing. What is right, what is wrong, and how do I get out of this box so that I can be my authentic self? Because to me, that is the bottom line. When we move beyond the boxes, that is being our authentic self in this world.
Mm-hmm.
I have to
Mm-hmm.
go, sisters. I love
Bye.
you both.
Love you.
Love you, sis.
We can
Hello
talk
to
about you now.
everybody. Love you
Bye.
guys. Yeah, talk about me. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Bye.
that's good that you actually brought that up, because like moving beyond boxes also, especially this anthology, is we talked a lot about the inside part of that box, the friendship box,
Mhm.
right? Because friendship sometimes form when you're dealing with business. We deal with business all day long, but we are also best friends. So how do you separate that is by honesty and communication, right? Really communicate what you need. Like I want something to do for this project, but I'm not the lead. So I always check in with Susanna, and she wants to do something with my project and I'm the lead. She checks in with me. We communicate so that we avoid any issues in the near future. Because then if you just bring that up and brought it up and you didn't set that boundaries in the very beginning, then it's gonna burst, right?
Right.
And so Sana and I are pretty good about like moving our boxes of, okay, it's about the project, sister. Let's just focus on this one right now. How do we communicate with what about this person, right? Your boxes can be so many things when you're writing in this anthology that we're coming today. Um, think about your life really, and always okay. People will say, "I'll go to the next one," or "I'll go to the next anthology," because we're always going to be running every quarter. But every quarter has a different theme. Okay, it's a
Right.
different theme. This one is, to me, it's really amazing because it goes with everybody, right? It's everybody. Moving beyond boxes is everybody. It's a journey, the journey to your self discovery. It's very general, but yet it's also uniquely yours, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's our journeys, and the only person who's really going to know that journey is us. We can't we can't have um, we can't just figure out where my thought just went. Welcome to the squirrels. But it's having we get on that journey. We get that we know what happened to us. We know how we dealt with it. And that's really what this chapter is about. What's happened? What happened and how did we move beyond it? How did we discover how we could move beyond it? And she was from Colombia.
Yeah, I saw that. She's Colombian. Awesome. Yeah. So, cruise. We have a lot of cousins who's also cruise in the Philippines. And Maria is very common in Filipinos too. So I think the Latin America, because we had Spanish come into the Philippines, we have very similar names. So yes, thank you,
Yeah.
Maria, for being here. Flora Maria, I appreciate you. Sister, we are coming to that end.
We are
Um,
at the end. And so
yeah.
in this case, it's me getting to say to you, do you have any golden nuggets that you want to drop going into this? I have to say it before you do it to me.
All right. I almost did.
I know
So
you
my,
did.
I know my last advice really or tips is don't wait for tomorrow, for it may never come. When opportunities knock on your door, sometimes the door closes forever. So never wait for opportunities for tomorrow, because you might not wake up tomorrow. Today might be the day, right? So take
Exactly.
that opportunity and run with it, whatever it is. It could be this anthology, it could be a promotion, whatever it is with that you're going through right now. Take that opportunity and run with it.
And then it's easy to find you because you are everywhere.
Just type Constance Leland in Google. I'm sure you'll find me.
Well, we're both at that point now. It's like, yeah, almost everything in the top, however big of a batch, it's us.
That's right.
But yeah, these anthologies are an opportunity to take that story that you have, what is you, and put it out in the world so that there's somebody out there right now who needs to read your story, each story, every story. because they're in the same situation or something that is very similar. How many times have we ever read a book and we see something there and just identify with it so quickly that you're kind of reading it, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. Now suddenly your attention is even more focused to see how they got through it because you're dealing with something that's similar and wondering if you can get through it the same way. That's what this anthology is. It's in some ways, you said this before with some of the other anthologies, it's like a roadmap. It's there as a guide, as something to go to and say, they did it this way. Maybe I can't do it the same way. However, I see how they did it, and knowing where I'm at right now, I can do it similar. Make a few changes. I can do it similar and hopefully come out at the same place or better than they did. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm muting because they're both snoring at the same time right now. Cheerio
Oh,
and
they're
Duke.
cute. They're so cute.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny when you're like, I'm hearing Cheerio snore in my kitchen. I'm like, wait, Cheerio's here. What do you mean in your kitchen?
I know. It was really weird. I'm in the kitchen. It's like, that sounds so much like Cheerio. And
I
there's
know.
like, why am I hearing Cheerio?
Yeah, that
Cheerio's
means you
a
hear them
1,000
too
miles
much.
away.
I know. Just they hear you too much. Athena right now I think needs to go to the vet. She's limping because one of her hand is like swollen. I don't know if she got bit by Duke. Sometimes they rough play, or maybe there's a snake. Sometimes we have snakes in the yard when it's like getting hot. But our gardener didn't say there was a snake, but our neighbor's dog got bit once. So I don't know what's happening. But she's going to the doctor's this afternoon for sure.
Poor kid.
I know.
I know.
Love you, sister. Thank you for having me on the show.
Well, thank you for showing up and being here. And I mean, it's the last day ish and
ish. Yeah.
ish. I mean, we're very good with ish, and because we want to give everybody that opportunity to write.
Yeah. And if you're just curious to just kind of talk, just DM Susanna and I, and we'll be able to chat with you if you need to. Just to keep that brain of yours of curiosity put to bed, right? If it's a financial thing that you're going through, just talk to Susanna, and then we'll work things out. But really, most importantly, is your story. We love stories.
Absolutely. The stories, this world is made out of story. Life is made out of stories.
Yeah.
Go back through history, and some of the most important people in villages from the beginning of time are the storytellers. The ones that, through those stories, told the history of what was going on. So, the glasses are on.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, I can't see that one. She's like, oh, thanks for setting this up. Loved it. Aw, you're welcome. Yes.
Yeah, we connected recently, so within the last week or so. So, yep.
Yeah, I didn't realize that we're all three. Danielle and I all are neurodivergent. We have ADHD, and we wear glasses. What? I didn't know that. I tried not to look nerdy as much, but I am blind. Like I can't see. I was like, I'm trying to squint my eyes, and I'm like, wait, I'll just put my glasses on. I have different glasses, but this is my favorite because it's not as heavy. So I'm always looking. But yeah,
this has become my go-to pair. So
now I see that. Yeah, I have my red. I have my librarian look, my cute look, and this is like my teacher nerdy look. I don't care as long as I can see and read, so I'm good.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, for everybody that's out there, we'll talk to you later. Can't wait to see you again. That's it for today, and thank you for being here, sis, and thank you for being here in the audience.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.